Hello, all you beautiful people out there, and welcome to Atheist Church. It is also Happy Zombie Day, and since it is Zombie Day, it's probably a good place to start with Biblical Inerrancy. Now, according to the Bible, when Jesus rose from the dead, a lot of people came out of the graves with him, okay? According to the Bible. My question is, why didn't anybody write about these zombies that came out of the graves? I mean, didn't anybody notice? I mean, they should have. Like, hey, Grandpa, wait a minute, you're dead. What the fuck just happened? But no, we don't see any firsthand accounts of zombies running around Jerusalem. And but anyway, not to mention that somebody just cannot come back from the dead. That's ludicrous, okay? Just freaking ludicrous. Now, most Christians believe that Jesus underwent a physical resurrection, but the Jehovah's Witnesses, they are a weird bunch, I'll tell you that much. They believe that Jesus had a spiritual resurrection. So they say, no, Jesus' body is still in the tomb. Well, I've said it time and time again, his body wouldn't be in a tomb. The Romans would never have allowed that. Hey, Marianne, part of the punishment for being a traitor, which is basically what crucifixion was. Crucifixion was basically a specific punishment for traitors. It probably had other uses as well, but particularly for traitors. Anyway, one of the punishments was you would be left on the cross to rot as an example to other people. And then you would be thrown into a mass grave. The Romans, hey TV to me, the Romans would never have allowed an honorable burial for someone who was crucified. Okay, that just doesn't jive. You know, and like I said, if according to the Bible, he wasn't the only one that rose from the dead, okay? The patriarchs rose from the dead. Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Now, this is according to the Bible and some of the other prestigious Jewish fathers, okay? So I want to know, if David resurrected, why didn't anybody say, hey, David, nice to see ya? Oh, wait a minute, you're a zombie now? Don't worry, I don't want to have anything to do with you now. So, at any rate, so that's my question. Why didn't anybody write down anything about the zombies that were coming out of the graves? You know, it's like, you know, you're sniffing around and what is that smell? It smells like, oh God. And then you turn your head and you see a zombified hand on your shoulder, and you're like, oh shit, get your goddamn hand off my shoulder. So, yeah, not likely. Not likely. Anyway, I do have one verse. There are others, but there's just one verse that I want to bring out to you before I go on with my spiel about biblical inerrancy. And that verse is Isaiah 40:22, and it says, he sits enthroned above the circle of the earth, and its people are like grasshoppers. He stretches out the heavens like a canopy and spreads them out like a tent to live in. Okay, so I'm not going to get too deep into biblical, or rather ancient Hebrew cosmology. But if you want me to do an episode on it, I guess I can. And it wasn't just ancient Hebrews, it was basically the entire area at that time, because they borrowed from each other very heavily. So first of all, this is a go-to verse for the Jehovah's Witnesses, because they'll say, see, it's a circle. And at that time, people thought the earth was a square or a rectangle. Well, okay. Yeah, it's a circle. But do you know what a circle is? It's a two-dimensional image. Earth is not a circle, it is a sphere. Okay? Spheres are three-dimensional, not two-dimensional. Okay? And on top of all of this, they believed that there was this dome over top of the earth, and that the sun, moon, and stars were within this dome. So it's kind of like Earth was the like it was like the major part of the universe, and you had the sun, moon, and stars within the dome. And then above that dome, you have water. And according to this ancient Hebrew cosmology, this is the water that came down in the flood of Noah. But if you also read in the Bible, it'll say, I will open up the heavens, and it'll rain on the earth 40 days and 40 nights, according to the Noah story. That's where this is coming from. According to ancient Hebrew cosmology, there is like a little window in this dome over the earth for God to open, and the rain would come into that little window. So anyway, it's weird. I can get more into ancient Hebrew cosmology if you would like, but that's the basic gist of it. So how is that inerrant? How is that in any way scientifically accurate? It's not. And you also have a bunch of other stuff, like the Exodus that never happened. And I had a Christian ask me once about, well, if the Exodus never happened, then why did they find a chariot wheel at the bottom of the Red Sea? And I really had to keep my shit together, people, because luckily this was, over the computer, so I could laugh my ass off without, offending this person. And I said, if the entire Egyptian army drowned in the Red Sea, don't you think they would have found more than one chariot wheel at the bottom of the Red Sea? So, yep. Yeah, Marianne, all about the chocolate. And the chicks. Speaking of chicks and bunnies, you can also call Zombie Day Pagan Rights Day, because I don't know if it was on the same day every year, but around this time of year, the the girls who were on the verge of womanhood would go hide in the forest, and the guys would go search for them. So it's kind of like a hide and seek type thing with a twist. Um, um, Now, when playing this type of hide and seek, whoever the boy or the man found, that was the boy or man who would deflower the girl of her virginity. So, you know, um, that was basically, it's fine, Lisa. Um, yeah. So when the Jehovah's Witnesses say it's pagan, it is, sort of. But Easter is based on the Jewish calendar. And Pagan Rights Day, when the girls and boys would play hide and seek, they would not, it may, it was probably not, well, it definitely wasn't based on the Jewish calendar, but it could have been based on a lunar calendar. Let's just say that. And so here we go with, the zombie story, because everybody knows the zombie story. You know, Jesus died on Friday, which was Good Friday, which, what the fuck is good about a dude dying? That's what I want to know. The chariot wheel information wasn't quite information. It's first is its first exposure is from Weekly World News of the late 80s and the early 90s. It's true to an extent that there were chariot wheels found. Again, TV to me. And I know you know this, but for the Christians out there, if the entire Egyptian army drowned, why weren't more chariot wheels found? That's just, I mean, it's just like whatever, and then of course the people who bring up the chariot wheel at the bottom of the Red Sea are the same crowd that's going to bring up the Shroud of Turin. And then you really want to hit yourself in the head because you're like, Shroud of Turin's been debunked since like the 80s, I mean, it was a medieval forgery. So it's just like, wow, and they even, and some people are so Shroud of Turin crazy that they ask, how could a medieval person fake the Shroud of Turin? And there was an episode on TV, and I can't even remember which show it was, but I do remember that they had a picture of the Shroud of Turin, not the actual Shroud of Turin, because of course, Catholic Church ain't gonna let you have the actual Shroud of Turin. So they had a picture of the Shroud of Turin, and working off that, they actually made a Shroud of Turin using what was available in medieval times. Otangelo, it's a medieval forgery. I was just telling you, they proved how it could be forged in the Middle Ages or the medieval times, however you want to say that. It maybe from Michelangelo, maybe. They don't really know who forged it, but they did. Otangelo, it's been proved. They proved that it was a forgery. Not only that, but they went and they did an experiment using a picture of the Shroud of Turin. You should have been here a few minutes earlier when I said this. And going from that picture of the Shroud of Turin, they made a forgery of the Shroud of Turin using what would have been available in medieval times. Not to mention the fact that the quote-unquote Shroud of Turin carbon dates to medieval times. So, it's just done. Yes, they did, Otangelo. You can deny it all you want. I'm not going to argue with you on that subject. I'm just not. I'm not going to argue with you on that subject because you want to believe it, and I can't change your mind. If you want to believe something, you're going to believe it, whether or not they disprove it or not. Just like your zombie Jesus. No, Otangelo. No, I'm not fooling myself. No, we're not gonna get into that today, Otangelo. We're not. No, not even. We're not gonna get into that today. Maybe later. Maybe I'll have you on my channel at another time and we can discuss it, but we're not going to discuss it today. Now let's see. Oh, Tangelo, I can prove it. I'm just not going to do it today. That's not what this is about. Okay? Hang on. Sorry. Okay. No, I can totally prove it. Okay, Otangelo, I'm just not going to do it today. That's not what this live stream is about. I will have you on my channel at some time in the future, and I will show you exactly how it was forged. Well, not show you, because I'm not an artist. Okay? Let's get that out of the way right now. I'm not an artist. But, we can have that discussion. That's no problem. No, Otangelo, that's not what this stream is about. That is not what this stream is about. Then you've got, there are a lot of claims in the Bible that have been historically and scientifically disproven, like the fact that there was no Exodus, the fact that there was likely no Abraham, and even if there was an Abraham, he would have been more chieftain. And, Saul did not reign over a united monarchy. The united monarchy did not come about until David, and the united monarchy fell after Solomon died. So, no, Tangelo, I've had you on before. I don't care. I mean, I really don't. So, it's a moot point because it's been debunked since the 80s. But if you want me to do it, I'll do it. Just drop me an email. You have my email address. So just drop me an email. Tell me when you're available. But that's not what this stream's about. So, at any rate, then you have all the contradictions. Hey, Hayward. 2 creation stories. One creation story in Genesis 1, another creation story in Genesis 2. There are 2 different creation stories, people. Otangelo, I know you're not going to like this, but read Genesis 1 and 2. Okay? And any Christian, read Genesis 1 and Genesis 2, and you will find they are 2 separate creation stories. So, at any rate, a lot of it just doesn't make sense. The Bible, a lot of it just doesn't make sense. And some of it is historical. Yeah, I'll go ahead and say that. Some of it was. Like who was that? Josiah and that Egyptian pharaoh meeting at Armageddon, and the Egyptian pharaoh says, Your God is with me and not you. I'm giving you a chance to go back. And Josiah says, hell no, I'm not going back. And that's when the Egyptian Pharaoh, when they get into the fight, and the Egyptian Pharaoh pretty much kills Josiah. This is true, Marianne. So, you know, it's just, it is what it is, and um, this is what I want Christians to do. I don't really care if you do it or not, okay? But I would like you to sit down and think, why do I believe in my God? Why don't I believe in the God of the Quran? Why don't I believe in the God of the Hindus? Gods of the Hindus. Why don't I believe in the God of the Sikhs? Because Sikhism is actually a monotheistic religion, although not Abrahamic. Why don't I believe in the God of Zoroastrianism? Why don't I believe in, the Greek gods? So please sit down and ask yourself some hard questions. Because you're never going to get anywhere in life if you just accept people's words for it. You're just not. And so go ahead and do that. One of the things that deconverted me to atheism was that I read the Bible. Yeah, I read the Bible. Okay. And I'm not the only one who says that. A lot of people have said reading the Bible turned me into an atheist. So, what are you going to do? That's really, all that I have. Oh, well, no. Sorry. Okay, so let's get into biblical inerrancy and how Christians interpret the Bible. Biblical literalists try to interpret the Bible literally, but even biblical literalists do not always interpret the Bible literally, because there are parables in the Bible. So then there are biblical literalists. And then there are the people who say none of the only stuff in the Bible that actually happened is stuff that we have historical or archaeological evidence for. But we metaphorically interpret the Bible and we take the lessons, the good lessons from the Bible. So those are two extremes. And then you have an entire continuum in the middle. And it is hard to I don't It's called cognitive dissonance. They can hold two conflicting views in their mind at once. Like, if Jesus did rise from the dead, zombie day! If Jesus did rise from the dead, why aren't people rising from the dead today? Hey, Beach. Hey, Big Zebra. So why aren't people rising from the dead today if Jesus rose from the dead? Okay? I don't buy it. I don't buy it. That's what I would say if he hadn't been left on a cross to rot and thrown into a mass grave, Lisa. But I believe a Yeshua existed that was a prophet who was causing trouble for Rome. There are probably a lot of Yeshuas who are prophets that were causing trouble for Rome, you know? And the Christians just latched on to one Yeshua who was crucified because he was causing problems for Rome. Lisa, I agree with you when it comes to the Jesus of the Bible. I don't believe for 1 minute that the Jesus of the Bible existed. However, I do believe that he may have been a composite, minus the miracles, of course, because who the hell can turn water into wine? You know, you just can't. So, yes, Beach. And he wasn't, quote unquote, dead for 3 days either. It's more like a day and a half. They took him, if he existed, they took him off the cross at evening because that's when Sabbath started. And he stayed dead for the entirety of Saturday. And then on Sunday, he rose. So it wasn't even 3 days. It was more like a day and a half, which is another thing that they don't seem to get. So, yeah. Yes, Big Zebra. That's usually what happened to crucified crucifixion people because they were thought of as criminals. The Romans would let them rot on the cross as an example to others and throw them into a mass grave. That's just how it was done. And so, you know, I just, it was, I don't know. Hey, junk shop. Yes, it is beach, but you're right. Christians do ignore it. Uh, so anyway, Now, I do want to, before I go, and since I have 8 people in here, I did want to talk about Telltale for a minute. If you're not subscribed to Telltale, he's an awesome YouTuber. He is an ex-JW. He has been run out of town by quote unquote Christians because he had the audacity to complain about a teacher who was trying to proselytize his daughter. Beach, they were planning on moving to New York anyway. It just got moved up. So, I, they were in the planning stages of moving to New York anyway. But like I said, it just got moved up. I don't know. I assume there is a GoFundMe for Telltale, but I am not sure of the link. And but he is. The Freedom from Religion Foundation has become involved. As far as I know, the teacher has not been fired. And this is something we gotta fight, people, because the Christians. If this woman had been a Muslim, would the Christians be okay with that teacher proselytizing their kids? Of course not. Of course not. But because the teacher was trying to proselytize for Christianity, that somehow makes a difference. No, it doesn't. There is a separation of church and state in the United States of America, people, even for Christians. So, yes, TV to me. I have, however, heard, and I have not checked on this, so big caveat here. I have heard that the Romans sometimes used upright poles, but during the time of the life of Jesus, when Jesus supposedly lived, during that time, they were using the cross. But I have heard that they did use upright poles at one time. So at any rate, uh, go show your love to Telltale. Tell him you're thinking about him, or, go subscribe to his channel if you're not already subscribed, or, just, go show him some love, because, he's really having a hard time right now, and it's not the first time this teacher's done this. It's just the first time she's got caught. And, so anyway, I'm gonna go and go and do other shit now. Like I said, happy Zombie Day, not to mention happy Pagan Rights Day. So you guys have a wonderful, wonderful evening, and I'll see you whenever I see you. Bye. One more thing, links in the description if you want to support me by becoming a member. You get your name on this cool little banner that's rolling across my stream. So, or, you can become a patron on Patreon. So I'll see you guys later. Bye.